Hi, all, and welcome to week 2 of our IVF series. Last week, we spoke about the fertility mindset and gave you some insight on how to prepare mentally for your upcoming cycle. So, if you haven't seen that video, you can check it out on our Facebook page below or our YouTube channel, The Baby Bloomers. We have a lot of videos on there as well that we just love to share with everyone. So, check it out. This week, we get right into how we can shift your lifestyle before, during, and after the IVF transfer. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you are as healthy as possible. That's a given. So this means making sure you have a full comprehensive examination, including physical exams, as well as blood work and any important testing, including genetic testing as well. So don't overlook good dental hygiene either. So studies show that women with periodontal disease take a longer time to conceive, and that bacteria can harbor in your gums, and that can actually prevent conception. So you want to make sure that your dental care is optimal. You also want to make sure that any chronic diseases or disorders are under control, and this includes autoimmune conditions, thyroid conditions, blood clotting disorders, blood sugar issues, and more. And be sure to review any medications and dosages that you're taking with your fertility specialist as well. It's very important. The second thing is proper weight management. So an optimal BMI is between 18 and 25. Anything too high or too low will compromise success of pregnancy or can compromise it. So women who are underweight have a higher incidence of ovulation disorders, while fertility treatments in those that have a high BMI over 35 are less effective. And of course, any resulting pregnancies will have more complications as well. So this doesn't only apply to women. Men who are overweight can also have lower sperm count and motility, so there is a correlation there, which obviously doesn't make them optimal for IVF either. So making sure that both of you are at a healthy weight is really, really critical. Ideally, you want to get up and move, right? Stretch throughout the day and warm up before you exercise. Limit your exercise to walking 30 minutes daily up to 5 times per week, and incorporate some strength training in there as well. So light weights 2 to 3 times per week are great. Nothing too strenuous unless you have a lot of time before your IVF cycle and you're trying to lose weight. So you can do that rigorous exercise leading up to, but then, a month or 2 cycles before going into your IVF, you really want to cool it down a bit. Moderate exercise is associated with improved egg and sperm function. So during ovulation induction, you want to switch gears to low impact exercise or even bed rest, depending on your risk. So if you're really, really high risk, you may be instructed to just, take some work time off, spend your time at home, etc. And you want to avoid any abdominal massage or abdominal touch, at that point as well, which makes sense. So let's talk about some lifestyle factors you will want to minimize or even eliminate while supporting your IVF cycle. Alcohol, cigarette smoking, and recreational drugs. I'm sure this is a given for both the male and the female partner. So THC will interfere with the production of testosterone and decrease sperm count, motility, and libido. And in women, it can cause menstrual cycle irregularities and reduced number of obtained oocytes for the IVF cycle. So you'll want to eliminate this from your body for at least 2 weeks, as the active metabolites will remain in your body for that period of time. So keep that in mind. You'll also want to reduce or even eliminate caffeine. Up to about 200 milligrams is okay, but nothing higher than that per day. No vigorous exercise, of course, nothing strenuous, and you want to try to minimize shift work if you can as well. So be open to your boss about your upcoming cycle and what your body needs before going into prep, and hopefully they can tailor your shifts for you. In men, you'll also want to avoid putting cell phones or any handheld devices in your pockets, and you want to avoid warm baths and placing a laptop on your lap. So anything heat forming is really not beneficial for the sperm. Sperm are very, very temperature sensitive, so just make sure that you're not doing any of those habitual things. It's very common for us to do that. You also want to avoid any anabolic steroids. Of course, those are a no-no. Toxins as well. We really want to try to minimize our toxic load. We'll talk more about food next week and how to minimize toxins in our food and that kind of thing and what to eat. But here are some tips that you can do to reduce your toxic load before conception. So you want to avoid plastic containers and using any products with phthalates and BPA. Be sure all cosmetics, soaps, detergents, moisturizers, and anything going onto your body is 100% organic and hypoallergenic. And you also want to avoid using any household chemicals or pesticides. So just making sure your environment is very, very clean for you. In terms of your work environment, you might want to try a stand-up workstation. I have one and it's awesome. In fact, I am standing at it right now and it goes up and down. We're going down right now and it comes back up, which is super amazing. And what this is doing is it's allowing me to like shift back and forth if I want to, move up, move down. I can sit if I really need to, but it's great because it stops me from congesting my pelvic floor and occluding any blood flow to my pelvic floor and reproductive organs. And that, of course, is something that you really don't want when you're trying to conceive. So the idea is to increase blood flow to that area and to keep yourself moving and avoid those stagnant behaviors. So not a lot of sitting is ideal. Sleep, of course, you want to ensure 7 to 8 hours of solid sleep per night. Sleep in a cool, dark room with no light coming in any form. Avoid TV, computers, and phones about an hour before bed. And of course, no stimulants or food 2 hours before you go to bed either. So if you work shift work, again, you may want to inquire about changing shifts or even about melatonin, which can help restore the hormone and cyclical balance in your body, which is likely deficient if you are working shift work. Lastly, don't forget your support team. This is not the time to isolate yourself. So talk with your friends, talk with your family and your partner, be open, be social. Another thing you can do is just declutter your space. I know for me, as soon as my environment just gets really cluttered with lots of books or lots of papers on my desk, my brain feels the same way and my whole body feels the same way. And so when I finally just declutter and move things, let go of things that I'm not attached to, and really just kind of get into my own and kind of be authentic, that's really important. And I think that I feel most clear at that time. And so hopefully you feel that way as well. So there you have it, some tips for optimizing your lifestyle environment for conception and going into your upcoming IVF or IUI cycle. Next week, we go right into how we eat for IVF, so stay tuned for that. Very excited to have you guys on board, and we'll give you some recipes next week as well. So stay tuned. Thanks.